West Point Lincoln and West Point Lincoln of Sugarland Studios. Here's In the Loop with John Lopez and Reggie Atatula.
That's right. You're in the loop here on 95.7 The Fan, and I already owe $1 to the Texans helmet because that's how we're going to do this. We will pay in order to get our corrections, in order to get everything right. But we appreciate you rocking with us here on the FM dial and on the AM dial if you're still tuned in to 610. A monumental day that has already seen these airwaves graced by one J.J. Watt, graced by Rudy Tomjanovich, graced by Roger Clemens, and now graced by the people's champ. His name is Paul Wall, and I got to throw it over to my main man J-Lo because he wants to say hello to you in a way that Houstonians do.
Yeah, we're talking about, and first of all, shout out to Paul Wall for, carving out some time. He is very, very busy right now in New York. I don't know if he wants to talk about exactly what's going on up there, but he can if he wants to. But I just have to say, he had to be a part of this first day of the flip to 95.7. He's the people's champ. And I got to say, to bring you in, Paul, what it do, man?
What it do, baby?
What it do? Now, here's the thing. The first time obviously we're familiar with your work, but the first time I interviewed you was at Texans training camp. I want to say 16 years ago. You came by with Mark Vandermeer and I, and we cut it up a little bit. And you are all about H-Town, so I know you're happy that now you can listen to your sports all over. But just for the city of Houston, we got the colors, we got that H-Town blue, or maybe I should say H-Tine. But whatever it is, I want to get your thoughts on just being able to be a part of this great day.
Oh man, I'm really excited! Congratulations, y'all! I look forward to listening to y'all, especially because they keep talking about taking AM radio out of all the new builds of the new cars. So I was a little worried, like, okay, well, how would I listen to y'all? You know what I'm saying? So now I'm real excited y'all made the switch. I can't be there with y'all in person. Yeah, I'm out here in New York right now, just getting it in, just promoting new albums, all of that good stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, excited to get you in when you are back in the city to come in with us. I did want to ask you because this is we come in every show with Tops Drop, but you are a foremost authority on H-Town and H-Town music. What do you consider as the most H-Town song of all of them? Because we go out to these parking lots, we hear all of them at the tailgates. I'm interested in which one you would put up there.
Well, there's definitely different eras of it. I mean, you can go back as far as, My Mind's Playing Tricks on Me or any of the Scarface or the Ghetto Boy songs. You know what I'm saying? Or if you want to go back to a little more underground, you can go to Street Military or their kind of music. You know what I'm saying? So there's all kind of, it just depends what era. Still Tiffin definitely was an all-time classic, for an era, but to me, Fat Pat Tops Drop or any little Kiki song, of course, you know what I'm saying? And it just depends on where you're at. But to me, I would have to say "Wanna Be a Baller" is my all-time, H-Town song.
Yeah, is that the one that turns you up most for Texans game day? Is that the one of the same?
I think so because it's a sing-along. Everybody knows the words. You know what I'm saying? You get hype on it. But, I mean, like I said, I might go through my little season of jamming that, and then I might be like, all right, it's time for some Big Hawk. And you put on some Big Hawk, and that's going to get me wired up to it. And that's okay, it's time for some Zero. You know what I'm saying? Or now it's time for some Slim Thug. So I got all my different various eras. And, it just kind of depends. Mona Leo killing it. So you put on some Everything Pink, I'm going to turn up right now. You know what I'm saying? So,
all right, so Paul was Figgy Fig here. I got to ask you, man, something very important. We lost something super special to Houston as of recent. Cam Houston, we lost Cam Houston, and we lost the address, man. What was your favorite moments from those two legendary spots in the city?
I mean, I definitely had a lot of concerts at both of those places, a lot of album release parties, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times people would come to town to host parties, and I'd go hang out with them, different celebrities. So I definitely got some good memories, you know what I'm saying? But I think my biggest memories are the ones with my homies just getting ready, going up there or leaving from there after we had a great time. We headed home. So, shout out to the whole club life in Houston, everybody getting it in. And, it's just kind of just shifted a little bit. It's kind of like, all about restaurants now, you know what I'm saying? But it's still popping. It's still going down. So I look forward to seeing what the next era ushers in, you know what I'm saying, what the new places are. It's like wide open right now for all the new spots that might, open up.
All right, Paul, I want to talk Texans, man. I mean, one of the reasons you like listening to us and you're happy about us flipping to 95.7 is you get to listen to sports talk. You get to join us occasionally. You know these guys. You've been around them a long time. What are your expectations and hopes for this team from what you've been seeing and hearing?
Well, my expectations and my hopes are two different things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My hope, of course, we go all the way, but my expectation is that there's going to be some stumbles, some roadblocks. I look forward to seeing, how they handle them, though. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely super excited, I think, the most about Tank Dell. I love watching him play, him and CJ together. They're just so dynamic, and it's just it's like lightning, you know what I'm saying, when they're on the field together. I look real forward to that. Also CJ cutting off his hair. I'm excited about that. It's like a new era of CJ Stroud. I can't wait to see what he brings. The defense is looking like, Jadeveon Clowney back. Oh my God, the defense is gonna be, oh my God. We got a lot to look forward to, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, my expectations are, maybe not as, I don't expect them to go all the way just because they haven't, division. Yeah, I think I expect us to win the division, you know what I'm saying? But my hope, of course, is, nobody gets hurt. That's my hope right there.
We're talking to Paul Wald, People's Champ, right here on 95.7 The Fan. And you are a dude that is swaggerful, if I can coin the term. Like, you absolutely carry yourself with all of that Houston feeling to you. And I don't know if you saw CJ Stroud, our guy, was getting clowned on the internet for the way that, he walked up to the facility. Obviously, that's not the most important thing. Him throwing touchdowns is, but if you had to give him like a little bit of game in order to make sure that our quarterback has that Houston swag, like what are you giving to the quarterback?
Well, to me, I think CJ got all the swag in the world. He's unique, he's himself, and that's the most important. A lot of people, they put too much emphasis on the entrance to the ring, and they're not worried about what they do when they get in the ring, and I'm not a big entrance guy. Those are two separate things. You can kill the entrance and then get killed in the ring. So I'm not worried about how he walk into practice. I'm worried about how he play on the field. So me personally, I admire CJ a lot, especially when he said he's going to stop cursing. That really lit a fire under me to kind of cut back on my cursing, you know what I'm saying? So big salute to CJ Stroud. I know I got my homeboy Goo always tell me now he needs to start cussing again. When he was cussing, that's when he was playing good. But I personally, I'm inspired by him. He's a real leader on the field and off. Having conversations with him. He's a big leader. So a big salute, big shout out to CJ Stroud.
Yeah. So speaking of not cussing, I want to kind of go back to your album with Chameleon there, man. You didn't cuss in that album, right? Y'all, was that kind of like a cleaner album? If I'm not mistaken?
Definitely was. I've got a few albums out there that are clean like this. Sometimes it's easier when you're mixing them and editing them. Sometimes, if you have cuss words, it's, they might play the wrong one on the radio by accident. You don't want to get somebody in trouble, and then they're second guessing next time you give them a song or next time they play one of your songs. Also, we have a big fan base that's behind bars. And if your album is squeaky clean, then it can get, downloaded in jail. And if it's not squeaky clean, then it is not available. So, it's just a little easier. And, to me, my mom always just inspired me to keep it clean, just in my daily walk or in my music, just because she always wanted to, stir up some creativity in me. So, that's kind of where that came from, just trying to keep it a little clean. And it's of course I'm grown, but we have a wide range of people that listen to us. Sometimes they might listen to us in the office. Sometimes it might be something corporate. Sometimes it might be a younger crowd. And you don't want to turn somebody off to your music. You don't want to say something and put your foot in your mouth. So we try to keep it clean.
Yeah. So I wanted to set you up with this question. I'm sure you get this all the time. Have you and Chameleon ever thought about making another album together or something? I know he don't really rap that much now, but have y'all ever thought about connecting again?
He's like semi-retired. I think that's due to how much money he got. He don't need the music. You know what I'm saying? He got so much money. Man, I always joke, like, he's going to have to fall off before he get back in the studio because, man, he got so much money he don't need to make the music, But just knowing him, he does have a passion for it. He also doesn't, he's a huge advocate for artists' rights. And the way the music industry is set up, it's not set up in favor of other artists. So he's not, he's not in favor of, people getting taken advantage of. So, but that's also, stirred up some inspiration for him to try to create a new way, you know what I'm saying? So he's actively trying to create a way for artists to get their due, whatever it may be, but whether it comes to me and him together in the studio, I definitely think you'll see that every now and then we do. I try not to take advantage of, his generosity, you know what I'm saying? But anytime I ever ask him to do a song, he always does it. And obviously, if he calls me for anything, I'm there no matter what it is, period. The answer going to be yes. Will we ever do an album together? Maybe, perhaps, but being that it's been so long since we have, there's a lot of expectations that are linked to our previous album, you know what I'm saying? So, and I don't mean like in the quality, I just mean in maybe the subject matter, the topics. Also when we put out Get Your Mind Correct, we were day in, day out growing up together. So we were, meshed together from, 5, 6 years old. So there was a whole huge culmination of us being together where we really just meshed together, where now we've, kind of walked our own paths. And even though the destination might be the same, our paths have been, a little bit different. So when we get back in the studio together for a full-length album, I don't know if it's going to sound the way, the first one did. It might still be jamming, but in a new way, a new light. And that might, we don't want to let the fans down if they're expecting it to sound, a certain way and it doesn't sound that way. So I don't know, but I'm absolutely open to it and down no matter what the situation is. If it's involving Camille in there, to me, the answer is going to be yes.
If you do,
always.
You got to bring in Mr. Mad Hatter too, just for old times.
Oh, for sure, man. Yeah, for sure.
Hey, just one or two more for here, Paul. We know you got some obligations up there in New York, but I got to ask you about this connection that really started about 4 or 5 years ago. The Texans didn't really used to embrace Houston. It was just sort of separate from the roots of Houston, from the colors and the slabs and the H-Town pride and all that. How important do you think that was for just the community at large? I mean, you've been there since day one, but you probably also experienced just that transition.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I went to a Texans game with my boy Papa Joe and Box on my wedding day. The day I got married, they came and kidnapped me and took me to a Texans game. I believe it was against the Colts, and the Texans lost, for the record. But I won. I won when I got married, but the Texans lost. And I definitely had my share of downs and then finally some ups, in my personal relationship. But I think it's not the ownership or any of that. I don't think it's the team. I think it's just some of the staff. They just were disconnected, or the people that were in charge of making those calls. They were kind of disconnected with, the Houston culture, you know what I'm saying? And as the kind of staff has had some turnover, they've been a lot more open to it. I remember, I'm friends with Reggie Bush, and I remember being on the sideline with him, with my son, taking him to a game, and we got kicked out the stadium, even though I'm like a personal guest of Reggie Bush. I had all the credentials, everything, and they basically were just like, hey, you can't be here. And I'm like, well, where am I supposed to go? And they're like, well, you can't be here. I don't know. But, it is, and it's tough sometimes when you're like I'm a real fan. I'm not like a trendy fan, or I show up, when we win. Of course I'm going to be there when we win, but, I'm a huge, real fan of Houston sports teams, especially the Texans. So, you know what I'm saying? When stuff like that happens, it was very disheartening. But, I don't hold it against the organization at all, because knowing, the ownership and upper management, I know it's not them at all. They absolutely show their love to the Houston culture, and always have. It's just, sometimes in between, it's sometimes the people who are in charge of maybe the entertainment or maybe other things, but as there's been staff turnover, they've definitely embraced the Houston culture a lot, and it means a huge amount to the fans because we feel included. And the Texans fans, as all the Houston sports fans, are diverse. They're not just, one type or one genre. It's a wide range of music listeners and lovers, a wide range of economic backgrounds, geographic backgrounds. Some people drive all the way from the country. Some people driving from down the street. So it's a huge, diverse crowd in there because it truly represents Houston, So, seeing it's all inclusive now, it's very encouraging. And when you go to a Texans game, it's a party now. It's a for sure party.
All right, Paul, I want to play a little game with you real quick to end off. It's just going to be a little either or. You tell me which one of these you pick, all right? All right, here we go. Tex-Mex or barbecue?
Ah, man, how you gonna do me like that?
Hey, man, you got to pick one.
Well, let's go Chicano barbecue a little bit.
Okay, all right. I like what you're doing there. All right, you want a Will Anderson Jr. sack or a Derek Stingley interception?
Ooh, I want the interception. I want the turnover.
Yeah.
All right, would you rather sit in the suite or be courtside or field side?
Ah, man, well, sometimes when you're in that suite, man, you're so far away, especially when you're a little older like me, man, the eyes don't work too good. I'm going to have to go on the field or courtside, man. There's nothing like having your feet on the floor.
Yeah.
All right, and then one more here. We just turned up 95.7 The Fan on the FM dial. If we wanted to get ourselves a little jewelry to commemorate it, do we get a grill or do we get a chain?
We getting grills, baby.
Hey. We gonna hold you to it.
We hold you to that one for real.
Let's go.
Let's go. Hey, man, you know we love you, and that was absolutely awesome, Paul.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me. Congratulations on the switch. I look forward to listening to y'all.
For sure. And we'll get you in studio here sometime soon when you're back in the city.
Yes, sir. Can't wait. I'll see y'all soon.
Yes, sir. There he goes, People Champ.
That was awesome.
Paul Wall joining us
Talk
here
about H-Town.
on 95.7 The Fan. Absolutely.
You talk about H-Town.
100%. He was like, I can't pick between Tex-Mex and barbecue. Are you crazy? Are you insane?